Today's episode is on sleep. Well, as you know, everyone's different, but 6 to 8 hours would probably be saying you're effectively sleeping enough. More importantly is, how do you feel when you wake up? You see, our quality and quantity are two different things when it comes to sleep. A lot of people will wake up multiple times throughout the night and think they've slept 8 hours, but really they haven't, because they were waking up multiple times. Well, a good night's rest is pretty well made on a good day. You see, a lot of parents know that their babies slept better when they had their proper naps throughout the day. They ate the proper foods and they drank the proper amount of liquids. And then when they go to sleep, they slept throughout the night. It's really the same for an adult. The quality of their day will usually determine the quality of their sleep. People that clench their teeth or grind at night, they have unresolved stress that when they've gone to bed, they still are fighting. They're in that fight-flight still, and so they're not sleeping as well. Other things like going to bed at the same time every night. I tell people that sleep is a habit. So if you're out of that habit of sleep, let's start a habit right. Let's get the same time every night. Let's have a ritual built around sleep so you fall asleep on time. If it's more difficult for you to fall asleep, that can be hormones that aren't functioning well. If it's more because you're waking up during the night, then that can be unresolved stress. It can be hormones. It can be multiple of reasons, and that's something we really work on early, because lack of sleep makes it more difficult for you to heal. Well, firstly, your body throughout the day is trying to get you into sleep sometimes. See, the brain works on different brain waves, alpha, beta, theta, and delta mostly. And those brain wave patterns are really like gears in a car. Some gears for a car are like climbing hills and some are for coasting. Well, the brain wave pattern, some are for sleep, and delta is the brain wave for sleep. If you haven't had enough sleep because you're not getting that deep delta sleep, then your brain throughout the day will be trying to go into sometimes delta, which is why you can feel tired. Your hormone levels will change. People that don't sleep well at night will have more abdominal fat, usually because there's hormones called cortisol are elevated in those that aren't sleeping well. So you really have to look at sleep as your way of healing, as your way of having a better day. And of course, the most subtle but important thing is your energy. You bounce out of bed. When was the last time you bounced out of bed even? And what was that like to actually have that feeling? And are you looking for that feeling again? Because if you can bounce out of bed and have energy that's abundant throughout the day, the life is, your days are so much more enjoyable. I don't think it's true. I think it can help to at least have some more sleep, but a night's loss of sleep is a night's loss of sleep. Napping can be really a much more beneficial way to catch up on sleep. Having small naps throughout the day or at night can really shift your entire day and how you function. And a lot of companies now are recognizing that and having actual nap rooms. In New York City, there's places where there's businesses where you can go in and take a nap in a pod. So being sleep deprived, take a nap would be a more effective way than trying to catch up all on a Saturday or Sunday, because it really doesn't work. It's a good question. I think the most important is the quality again. And when you're injured, a lot of times you're in pain during the night. In fact, a lot of times you recognize pain when you're in your sleep or falling asleep than you do in the day. And that's a good thing to notice, because it could be because your bed is really bad and you're sleeping in a weird position. But usually it means all of a sudden the lights are off, the sounds are quiet, and you're noticing things. You're finally quiet in your body, and you'll notice some pains. So if you're having pain when you sleep, it could be more disrupted sleep. when you turn over, that's when it hurts. So it's important to have a good sleeping position when you're hurt, as it is when you're healthy, because healing is important and sleep is when that happens. But I don't think you necessarily need more, you just need better quality. Well, if you're sleep deprived, you're also more injury prone. We do balance tests, and you could check this yourself. If you're sleep deprived, you'll have poor balance. Stand up on one leg, and if you feel solid, even shut your eyes. If you're under 65 years old, you should be able to balance for 30 seconds without falling. And many people, when they shut their eyes, they can't do that. They're more prone to falls and work injuries, and sleep will help decrease those injuries. No, insomnia means you're having problems with either falling asleep, or many people fall asleep, but they'll wake up 2 or 3 hours later and then wake up, and then they have a problem falling back to sleep. That's what insomnia is. And if it's one day, it's typically you're just tired. 2 days and you're feeling a little bit, sometimes anxiety. But over a period of time, of long periods, your actual emotions will change. That's what insomnia can do. It can change the way you heal and the way you feel during the day. Some are better than others. Sleeping on your stomach I'll start with, because that would be my least recommended sleeping position. Let's think about it. If there was a mattress right in front of my face now, I can't look directly into the mattress, so I have to turn my head. So I'll turn it to the side. Now if I sat like this for 6-7 hours, you'd think that was crazy, but I'd have a pretty sore neck after. Well, sleeping is that. You're either turning to one side or the other. Most people will have a favorite. Second thing is my feet can't go directly into the mattress either. So I'm gonna kind of turn my hip to one way or the other. This puts a lot of stress on the low back. So stomach sleeping isn't great for you. Next, I go to side sleeping, because side sleeping is better than stomach sleeping, but it does require some thinking. Firstly, if you're sleeping on your side, you should have a pillow that's the same width of your shoulder, which means that me and you wouldn't use the same pillow. I'm much broader. In our clinic, we actually sell pillows that we measure that width, because we want to make sure your neck doesn't go too far in if it's too short, the pillow, or prop too much, because again, that's going to wreak havoc on your neck. When you're side sleeping, you want to put a pillow between your knees. This is to help from the hips being opened up by the leg that's higher falling too far down. And that's what happens. That'll put more stress on your hips and loosening up the joints. Lastly, if you're a side sleeper and you have a spouse, most likely you've slept on the same side of your bed and therefore the same side of your body every single night for 20 years. That can also create changes in the way your body breathes and moves. And whenever I ask why, it's usually because the husband snores, so the wife sleeps on her side with her back to the husband whose back is to each other. And they stay like that. And I'm like, you have to at least change sides. And regularly, because you want to be sleeping on both sides just as much, not just one side. Lastly, the back sleeping is probably my favorite, sometimes the most difficult for people to do, but it's because you don't have to think of too many props or things you need to do. You just need to lie on your back and fall asleep. But the pillow is important. The pillow is important, and common sense is important. If you wake up worse than you felt when you went to bed, you're not doing something right. You should wake up feeling better, because your sleep is when you're finally relaxing. So if you're waking up with more low back pain, stiffer, or your foot hurts, then something's not right.